वॉइस क्लियर है? कल क्या स्टार्ट किया था? अमेंडमेंट ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन कुछ एक्सप्लेन कर दिया था? कुछ भी, एनीथिंग? Amendment. I have explained about the rigidity and flexibility of the amendment or not? Huh? So what is the conclusion? Indian constitution is rigid or flexible? Both. Synthesis of both. It is synthesis of both. I have explained it tomorrow, no? Write down. Constitution provide for its amendment. Constitution provide for its amendment. To adjust itself. To adjust itself. According to the changing. According to the changing. Social, economic and political conditions. Shashank? According to the changing social, economic and political conditions. Clear? I have explained it tomorrow, no? In order to sustain ourselves, we need to grow as well as change. So constitution is like a living organism. If we say that the constitution is a living document or living organism. So what is the meaning of living here? How do you explain that someone is living or non-living? There are basically two things in the that describe about anything is living or living. One is growth, another is change. So if anything is living, then it will have two features, feature of growth and feature of change. So if we say that constitution is a living document, so what does it means? It means it is both growing, isn't it, as well as change. What do we mean by growing? We have inserted many new articles, na? So write down all these things. Many new articles. For example, Article 21A, isn't it? Huh? 51A. So what does it mean? It means our constitution is growing. Huh? You can see here our constitution is growing. We are adding new articles as well as new parts in the constitution also. New parts as well as new schedule. So we are adding new articles, new part, new schedule in the constitution. Means our constitution is growing. And also we are changing it. For example, right to property. Right to property was earlier in fundamental right in Article 31, but now it has been moved as a constitutional right in Article 300A. So you will have to write all these things in the answer. Otherwise your answer won't be complete. Clear na? Right to property was earlier under Article 31, So simultaneously keep writing all these things. I am not going to dictate each and everything in the class. So what is the meaning of change? Means earlier right to property was in Article 31 as a fundamental right, but now it is under Article 300A. So there is a change now. So constitution is a living document, means it is growing as well as it is changing through the process of amendment. Clear? And I have explained that. I am again going to draw that diagram. Constitution amendment under Article 368. I am not going to dictate. You should draw these diagrams simultaneously for your quick revision. Clear? And outside Article 368. I have explained it tomorrow, no? Yesterday's class. So in Article 362, how many type of amendment are there? Two type. Special majority and special majority plus consent. So if you are talking about the rigidity of the constitution, then that part is rigid. I have explained it. So write down. Indian constitution is neither flexible nor rigid, but a synthesis of both. Indian constitution is neither rigid nor flexible, but a synthesis of both. Next, next. When I say next, write from next para. Article 368 in part 20. Article 368 in part 20. And whenever you are going to write part in the exam, please do write like this in Roman. Clear? So write like this, part 20 in Roman. Deals with the power of the parliament, deals with the power of the parliament to amend constitution and its procedure. To amend constitution and its procedure. However, the parliament cannot change those provision. However, the parliament cannot change those provision which are part of the basic structure. Part of the basic structure of the constitution. Part of the basic structure of the constitution. Clear? See, now what is the basic structure? You have to remember two things. First is Keshwanand Bharati case. Keshwanand Bharati versus State of Kerala. Write down Keshwanand Bharati versus State of Kerala. This case happened in 1973. So you'll have to remember the year also. In this case, Supreme Court, which court? Supreme Court ruled. What was it ruling? It ruled that Parliament can amend any part of the Constitution without destroying the basic structure of the Constitution. Parliament can amend any part of the Constitution without destroying the basic structure of the Constitution. And what would be the basic structure of the Constitution would be decided by the judiciary itself. Means there is no mention of basic structure in the Constitution. Clear? So you can write down in Keshwanand Bharati versus State of Kerala case in 1973, Supreme Court ruled that Parliament can amend any part of the constitution. Parliament can amend any part of the constitution without destroying the basic feature of constitution. And what would be the basic feature of the constitution? Would be determined by the judiciary itself. And what does it means? It means that there is no mention of basic structure in the constitution. It is a judicial innovation. Is that clear? So parliament can amend any part without destroying the basic structure, and basic structure was innovated by judiciary in which case? Keshwanand Bharti case. Now come to the procedure. Procedure for the amendment of the constitution. Procedure for the amendment of the constitution. ठीक है, सी पहले प्रोसेस समझ लो, उसके बाद तुम लोग लिखना कि व्हाट इज द प्रोसीजर फॉर द अमेंडमेंट ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. सी फॉर द, पहले समझ लो, लिखना नहीं, मैं बाद में डिक्टेट कर दूंगा. सी फर्स्ट, फॉर द अमेंडमेंट ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन एनी मेंबर ऑफ द पार्लियामेंट, एनी मेंबर मीन्स private member also. When I see any member, it also include private member. Private member means what? Huh? Those who are not minister, they are called private member. Clear? So any member of the parliament means including private member can introduce the bill for the amendment of the constitution in either of the house. In either of the house means either in Lok Sabha or in the Rajya Sabha. Clear? Then under Article 368, this bill must be passed by the special majority or simple majority? Special majority. So under Article 368, this bill must pass by the special majority. It is given na in the 368 that for the constitutional amendment bill, the bill must be passed by the special majority. Clear? And in both the houses, separately. See, what do we mean by separately? See, in case of deadlock, what is the meaning of deadlock? Means bill is stuck in either of the house. Bill is stuck in either of house. Either of house means either in Rajya Sabha or in Lok Sabha. So this is the scenario of deadlock. So in this case, if a bill is stuck in Rajya Sabha or in Lok Sabha, there is a provision of joint session under Article 108. In case of deadlock, joint session means Lok Sabha plus Rajya Sabha, both will vote simultaneously to pass that bill. So this is applicable only in case of ordinary bill. Only in ordinary bill. And not in money bill and constitutional amendment bill. Not in money and constitutional amendment bill. So constitutional amendment bill must pass by separately by both the house. There is no provision of joint sitting. Joint sitting is only for the only for the ordinary bills, but it is not for the money bill and constitutional amendment bill. And once this bill is passed by both the house separately, and if it is not affecting the federal structure, then it will be sent to the president for his assent. But if it is affecting the federal structure, then consent of the half of the state legislature is also required. If it is affecting the federal structure, and if it is not affecting the federal structure, then it will be sent to the parliament. Clear? And one more important thing, president can return the bill for the consideration, but he cannot reject. Clear? He must pass this bill in case of constitutional amendment. So this is the procedure for the amendment of the constitution under article 368. Any problem? What is the private member? Clear? What is the joint session? In which bill, in which article it is given? In which cases it is applicable? All these things clear? Now write down procedure for the amendment as laid in article 368. Procedure for the amendment as laid in article 368. Write down amendment of the bill, amendment of the constitution can be initiated only by the introduction of a bill, only by introduction of a bill either by minister or by a private member, either by minister or by a private member in either of the house, that is Lok Sabha or Raj Sabha, in either of the house, that is Lok Sabha or Raj Sabha, but not in the state legislature, but not in the state legislature. Clear? Means amendment can be introduced in the parliament, not in state legislature, and in parliament either in Lok Sabha or in the Raj Sabha. Clear? This bill does not require prior permission of the president. This bill matlab constitutional amendment bill. This bill does not require prior permission of the president. The bill must be passed by each house. The bill must be passed by each house with a special majority. With a special majority separately. With a special majority separately. Because there is no provision for holding a joint session in case of constitutional amendment bill. Holding a joint session in case of constitutional amendment bill. Next, if the bill seeks to change the federal structure, of the constitution, federal structure of the constitution, seeks to change the federal structure of the constitution, then it must be ratified by legislature of half of the states, legislature of half of the state by a simple majority. By a simple majority. See, you might get confused in the exam. In case of parliament, it must be passed by a special majority, means two-third majority. But when it is sent for the ratification of the state in case of change in the federal structure, then it must be passed by the simple majority. So don't get confused. Okay. Next, after ऐसे लिखो, in case of bill passed by both the house, in case bill passed by both the house and ratified by state legislature and ratified by state legislature, the bill is sent to president for his assent. The bill is sent to president for his assent. The president must the president must give his assent. He can neither withhold his assent, he can neither withhold his assent nor return the bill for reconsideration. Highlight this part. President must give his assent. He can neither withhold the bill nor return the bill for reconsideration. After president assent, the bill become Constitutional Amendment Act. The bill become Constitutional Amendment Act. Now come to the type of constitutional amendment. So basically there are three types. Clear? Two types are given under Article 368. Draw this diagram. And one is outside 368. So if question comes, how many types of amendment are given in Article 368? So what would be your answer? 2 or 3? 2. Under Article 368 there are 2 na? This one is outside Article 368. So read the question very carefully in the exam. Clear? If it is asking that how many types of constitutional amendment are there under Article 368, then what would be your answer? Two type na? One is with special majority, another is special majority plus half state. But if it is asking in how many way constitutional amendment can be done, then your answer should be 3, because one, that is simple majority, is given outside 368. Clear? सो इसको भी बना लो. आई हैव एक्सप्लेन दैट इन यस्टरडेज क्लास. Clear? And if I am asking it is rigid or flexible, then would you be able to explain it ना? कौन सा वाला पार्ट रिजिड में आएगा, इधर वाला आएगा या इधर वाला आएगा? हाँ, एग्जाम में लिख लोगे आंसर. हाँ, तो टाइप्स में समझ में आ जाएगा क्वेश्चन एग्जाम में कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का पूछ रहा है कि कैसे करोगे अंडर आर्टिकल 368. अगर वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का पूछेगा तो 3 टाइप से है, और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में अंडर आर्टिकल 368 तब 2 टाइप का है. पहला क्या है, विथ स्पेशल मेजॉरिटी, और दूसरा क्या है, स्पेशल मेजॉरिटी प्लस हाफ ऑफ द स्टेट. है क्लियर हो रहा है ये सब चीजें? दिमाग में पिक्चर बन रहा है कि नहीं बन रहा है? ऐसे बना के एक्सप्लेन कर लोगे एग्जाम में? कहाँ? चलो अब देखो कोई जब तुम एग्जाम में लिखोगे इस चीज का आंसर, क्या क्वेश्चन मैंने बोला था कल? बोला था कि अगर ट्राई करना लिख पाना. लिखो इसको, इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज सिंथेसिस ऑफ बोथ रिजिडिटी एंड फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी. दिस वाज योर क्वेश्चन yesterday. Explain. So while writing your answer, what should be written in introduction? Draw this structure in your copy. First of all, tell why amendment is needed. Why amendment is needed in not more than 3-4 lines. Clear? Why? Because to adjust according to the changing socio-economic and political condition, we need constitutional amendment. Then body में आओ. Body में you will have to tell about how it is combination of both flexibility and rigidity. So write article, write amendment, amendment under article 368. Clear? And then in 368, 2 type. First special majority, second special majority plus half state. Clear ना? ऐसे ही तो लिखोगे. And then outside 368. अब क्या इतने से क्वेश्चन हो जाएगा आंसर इतना लिखने पे? फिर तुम्हें एग्जाम्पल्स देना पड़ेगा इसका. इसके एग्जाम्पल्स बताओ कौन कौन सी चीज है. ठीक है? हाँ हाँ, यही लिखना पड़ेगा बेटा. फिर इसका वाला एग्जाम्पल बताओ कि बताओ जो फेडरल वाले को चेंज करेगा, फिर उसका एग्जाम्पल दो. क्लियर? फिर सिंपल वाले में अंडर आउटसाइड 368 में क्या है, सिंपल है ना? क्लियर? तो इन सब का भी एग्जाम्पल देना पड़ेगा. तो पहले सिंपल वाले का एग्जाम्पल देख लो, बुकलेट में भी देख लो, मैं वैसे भी बोल देता हूँ, लेकिन तुम्हें कॉपी में लिखा होना चाहिए. ठीक है? तो पहले हम लोग सिंपल वाला देखते हैं. इस सिंपल में क्या क्या आता है, और ये तुम्हें आंसर में लिखना पड़ेगा, बिना इसको लिखे मार्क्स नहीं मिलेंगे। पूरा लिस्ट नहीं लिख सकते हो, बट कुछ एग्जांपल्स देना पड़ेगा। यू विल हैव टू सब्सटेंशिएट योर पॉइंट ना। क्लियर? तो कम टू द सिंपल। अब सिंपल में क्या क्या है? सिंपल में see your booklet and write down in your notes also, because this is important question which can be asked by the UPSC or HPPSC in mains exam. ठीक है? See the booklet and you will have to learn all these provisions. First one is admission or establishment of new states. This can be done by simple majority. I have told this while I was teaching union and its territory, na? Clear? And then formation of new state or change in the boundary of the new state or change in the name of the new state. Then, if you want to abolish or create legislative council, abolition or creation of legislative council, and this is given in Article 169, asked by UPPSC multiple times, in which article deals with the abolition and creation of council of state. So write down in front of that point Article 169 in your notes or in your booklet. It is given in Article 169. Clear? And where is joint sitting? Joint sitting is 108. So you'll have to remember all these articles, and it cannot be done in a single day. It is a process. Clear? And then second schedule. Now in exam they will rightly ask you what are there in the second schedule. The second schedule is related to the allowances, salary, privileges of the president, governor, speaker, judges. See very carefully. There is no mention of chief ministers or prime ministers. So don't get confused. And you'll have to learn all these things. What is given in schedule 1, what is in schedule 2, schedule 3, schedule 4 to schedule 11 and 12. क्लियर? याद है किसी को? हाँ, धीरे धीरे याद करो ये। ठीक है, ये किसी बुकलेट में मैंने दिया होगा और बुक्स में भी रहता है ये। सो विल हैव टू लर्न ऑल दीज थिंग्स कि शेड्यूल 1 में क्या है, शेड्यूल 7 में क्या है, 12। ठीक है? Then it is also related to the simple majority quorum. Now what is quorum? This question has been asked by UPSC also. What is the quorum? Quorum is the minimum number of meeting members. Write down minimum number of members required to hold a meeting of the house. Minimum number of members required to hold the meeting of the house, a session of the house, and it is 1/10 of the total member. 1/10 of the total member. कितना? 1/10 means there are 545 members in the Lok Sabha. So we need 5 members to hold a meeting, and that is quorum. Is that clear? And this can also be changed by the simple majority. Suppose if parliament want to change it and make it to 1/15 या 1/5 या 1/20th, then for this whether they require amendment under Article 368 or it can be done by the outside Article 368. So it is done by the simple majority. Clear? Next, salaries and allowances of MP. ठीक है, खुद की सैलरी बढ़ानी है तो क्यों जाएंगे इतना तामझाम करने? हाँ, आराम से करो, सिंपल मेजॉरिटी से, जब मन में आए। ठीक है। देन प्रिविलेजेस ऑफ द पार्लियामेंट। सी, privileges of the parliament is given in Article 105. Few privileges, not all. So write down Article 105 in front of that point and try to learn these articles, because parliamentary privileges are also given in your main syllabus in GS paper 2. Clear? Now rules of the procedure in the parliament. अब पार्लियामेंट का प्रोसीजर चेंज करना है तो उसके लिए क्या करोगे? स्पेशल अमेंडमेंट, यूज ऑफ इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज इन पार्लियामेंट। कल को मन किया तो नहीं करेंगे तो सिंपली चेंज हो जाएगा। ठीक है। देन यूज ऑफ ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेज, सिटीजनशिप एक्विजिशन एंड टर्मिनेशन, इट कैन आल्सो बी डन। गवर्नमेंट ने कितना आसानी से सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट एक्ट पास कर लिया। कोई सी स्टेट के पास भेजा है स्पेशल मेजॉरिटी चाहिए? नहीं। ठीक है। यूनियन टेरिटरी, फिफ्थ शेड्यूल, सिक्स्थ शेड्यूल। See, now you'll have to learn what is given in first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth schedule. Fifth schedule is related to the administration of scheduled area and scheduled tribe. So now you'll have to learn this. धीरे धीरे ये सब याद होगा, एक दिन में नहीं। And sixth schedule is administration of tribal areas. Clear? Now come to the second part, that is by special majority of the parliament. So there is, I think, 18 or 17 things in which at least you will have to write 5, 4, 5, 6 in your answer. You cannot write all those things, but at least try to write 4, 5 or 5, 6 points. Now come to the special. स्पेशल मेजॉरिटी से, स्पेशल मेजॉरिटी में फंडामेंटल राइट्स। While teaching fundamental rights, I have told that if fundamental rights can be amended only by the constitutional amendment under Article 1, under Article 368 with the special provision. Also, this is true about the DPSPs. DPSP can also be amended only by the constitutional amendment. And what about fundamental duties? Anyone? कहाँ पे आएगा ये फंडामेंटल ड्यूटी? Tell me, anyone? How many fundamental duties are there in the Constitution? 11th. And how 11th was added? So how it can be done? Under constitutional amendment ना, under Article 368. तो अपने आप हो गया ना आंसर, स्पेशल मेजॉरिटी। अगर तुम्हें ये याद आ रहा है कि 86 से ऐड किया गया 11th। See, you don't have to remember all these things. ठीक है, try to learn and apply your mind. कि नहीं भी पता है तो कैसे सोचोगे, how you will think in the exam. मैंने नहीं बताया लेकिन तुम सोच सकते थे ना ऐसे। तो बताया था ना 86 से ऐड हुआ है 11th वाला, तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट किया गया उसके लिए ना, तब तो ऐड हुआ है। मीन्स इट इज अंडर आर्टिकल 368। सो ऐसे पूरी लिस्ट नहीं याद कर पाओगे। ऐसे फंडामेंटल राइट में कई सारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट हुए हैं, आर्टिकल 21 है, डीपीएसपी में भी कई सारे अमेंडमेंट हुए हैं, तो याद करने की क्या जरूरत है, तो वैसे याद रहेगा। Isn't it? It is easy to recall, no? If you'll apply your mind that there are fundamental constitutional amendment in Article 21A, then by 42nd Amendment, few DPSPs are added. So that's how you will learn how to solve your questions in a prelims exam. whether you know the answer, exact answer or not. Clear? And now come to the special majority plus half of the state. Special majority plus half of the state's ratification. And this is applicable in which case? If we are changing the federal provisions. In which case? Federal provisions, na? Only in that case we will be required to get ratification of the half of the state's legislature. So for example, election of the president. You will have to write the example in the exam also. अभी हुआ ना president election. So here MP plus MLA both participated na? Huh? In election of president both MP and MLA both participated. But in case of vice president it is only who? Only MP, not MLA. Write down this in your notes. So president election में MLA means state government is also involved. Means there is federal provision. So for any change in the election of the president, we have to amend the constitution under Article 368 with a special majority plus half of the state. Same Supreme Court, High Court. Then distribution of legislative power between union and state. Clear? What is the legislative power of union and state? If you want to divide these powers, then you will have to take the ratification of at least half of the state legislature or anything in the seventh schedule. Seventh schedule talk about union list, state list and concurrent list. I have told it yesterday. So if it is talking about state list also, then what does it means? We would require ratification of half of the state legislature. Clear? Then representation of the states in parliament. Representation of the states in the parliament is given in schedule 4. Allocation of seats in the Rajya Sabha. How many seats would be assigned to a state? That would be changed by the special majority plus ratification of half of the state because it is concerned with the federal provision. See, in case of India, there is asymmetric federation, asymmetric representation. What does it means? For example, UP has maximum representation in the Rajya Sabha, 31 seats, whereas there are other states who have only 1 seat in the Rajya Sabha. So that is called asymmetric representation or asymmetric federation. Why asymmetric? Unlike USA, in USA we have symmetric federation. All the states have 2 members in the upper house of the USA. But in case of India, it is according to the population of the state. So which state is more populated? UP, most populous state of the country. So UP has the maximum representation in the Rajya Sabha. And there are other states who have only 1 seat in the Rajya Sabha. So it is symmetric or asymmetric? It is asymmetric, na? And to bring any change in this provision, because it is affecting the federal provision, we need the ratification of half of the state legislature also along with the special majority from the parliament. And also to change any provision in the Article 368 itself, we need a special majority of the parliament plus half of the state legislature assent. Clear? So you are supposed to write all these things in your notes and also try to write simultaneously what I am telling you in the class, because all things cannot be dictated in the class, na? So if you think or if you found anything important or any new term or any new concept, try to write it in your notes Schedule 4. Clear? Any doubt? Now we are going to talk about amendability of fundamental right in detail. Amendability of fundamental rights. See, while teaching constitutional fundamental right, what I have told about the amendability of the fundamental right? Anyone? While teaching fundamental right, I have told about the amendability of fundamental right. Na? Fundamental rights are sacrosanct or not? What do we mean by the sacrosanct? Permanent. Very good. So fundamental rights are permanent? No. A big no. Huh? They are not sacrosanct in nature. They are not permanent. They can be curtailed or repealed by the parliament, except few. Article 20 and 21. Isn't it? Huh? They cannot be suspended even in emergency, operation of national emergency. And Article 19 can be suspended in case of national emergency, in case of war or external aggression, not armed rebellion. Clear na? So what does it means? It means कि fundamental rights are amendable na? As of now it is amendable. But इसमें कई सारे cases हैं सुप्रीम कोर्ट में कि whether they are amendable or not. ठीक है? So many times the amendability of the fundamental right came in front of the Supreme Court in various cases, and you will have to learn all these cases. These cases are very important for your exam and almost asked by the every state PSC in the mains exam about the amendability of the fundamental right or the concept of basic structure. Even if they will ask you about the evolution of the basic structure, then you will have to come from the Shankari Prasad case to Aman Rao case. So you'll have to remember all these cases. It is difficult, but you'll have to do it because basic structure is given in your syllabus. Amendment to Constitution is given in your syllabus in the GS paper 2 in mains, and UPSC has asked question on these topics. Also, state PSCs have also asked question. So we will discuss all the cases one by one, and you will have to remember these. Clear? So first case is, see in your booklet, it is Shankari Prasad case versus Union of India in 1951. See, it was about the constitutional validity of the first amendment in 1951. Clear? And in this case, right to property was challenged. First amendment was related to the right to property. And in this case, Shankari Prasad case versus Union of India, this was questioned in the Supreme Court. And in this case, Supreme Court ruled that the power of the parliament to amend the constitution also include the power to amend fundamental right under Article 368. So what was ruling in this case, in Shankari Prasad case? Means fundamental rights are amendable and parliament can amend fundamental right. Clear? Then again, in Golaknath versus State of Punjab case in 1967, you will have to learn all these cases in for your mains as well as prelims exam. Sometime they will give you the cases and they will ask you to arrange these cases in the chronology. And it has been given in UPPSC in 2021 prelims. I know it is difficult to learn all these cases, but I am not asking you to learn all these cases in a single day. Clear? डोंट गो इन सच अ स्पीड कि बस आज बैठेंगे एंड आई विल लर्न ऑल द सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजमेंट. दिस इज अ प्रोसेस. ठीक है. एंड एंजॉय दिस. दो तीन चार पांच केस जैसे से याद हो रहा है, ट्राई टू लर्न दिस केसेस. ठीक है. अभी मेंस देने में बहुत टाइम है, तब तक कितनी बार पढ़ लोगे अपने आप याद हो जाएगा. भूलोगे फिर रिवाइज करो. दैट्स व्हाट वी आर सपोज टू डू इफ यू वांट टू क्वालिफाई द यूपीएससी. Isn't it? Is there any other way to learn these cases except multiple revision or writing practices? So tell me also. I will follow your ideas. I am not that rigid. ठीक है. I am flexible. I will adopt your ideas also. If you have any idea without revising, we can learn all these things in a single day. Then please do let me know. Clear? ठीक है. तो शंकरी प्रसाद केस हो गया. इसमें क्या सुप्रीम कोर्ट का रूलिंग था कि फंडामेंटल राइट्स कैन आल्सो बी अमेंडेड अंडर आर्टिकल 368. नाउ कम टू द गोलकनाथ केस. और ये ऐसे लिख लो जाके. ठीक है. ऐसे सीरियल बना के क्रोनोलॉजिकल ऑर्डर में. और याद करो इसको धीरे धीरे, ये टाइम लगता है इन सबको याद करने में. क्लियर. एंड इट वाज अगेंस्ट द स्टेट ऑफ पंजाब एंड इट वाज रिलेटेड टू द सेवेंथ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट. दिस वन वाज फॉर द फर्स्ट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट. ये भी पूछते हैं प्रीलिम्स में कि कौन सा केस कौन से अमेंडमेंट के लिए अमेंडमेंट से रिलेटेड था. तो शंकरी प्रसाद वाज रिलेटेड टू द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल वैलिडिटी ऑफ द फर्स्ट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट एंड गोलकनाथ वाज रिलेटेड टू द सेवेंथ अमेंडमेंट. ठीक है. एंड सेवेंथ अमेंडमेंट से कौन सा शेड्यूल इंसर्ट हुआ था? नाइन्थ. ठीक है. तो एससी का जजमेंट इसमें क्या आया था? फंडामेंटल राइट्स आर इम्यूटेबल पोजीशन. इम्यूटेबल मतलब दे कैन नॉट बी चेंज, दे कैन नॉट बी एब्रिज्ड आर टेकन अवे. मतलब जो शंकरी प्रसाद में जजमेंट आया था कि फंडामेंटल राइट्स कैन बी अमेंडेड, गोलकनाथ केस में सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने वही जजमेंट रिवर्स किया कि नो, दे आर परमानेंट इन नेचर, दे कैन नॉट बी टेकन अवे, दे कैन नॉट बी चेंज, दे कैन नॉट बी अमेंडेड. क्लियर. अब देखो केस कब आया था? 1967. इसके बाद 1971 में किसकी गवर्नमेंट थी? विच गवर्नमेंट वाज देयर एट द सेंट्रल लेवल इन 1971? इंदिरा गांधी गवर्नमेंट. वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग लेडी, आयरन लेडी ऑफ इंडिया. पार्लियामेंट की पावर कम हो, हाउ कैन शी टॉलरेट दैट? हाँ. So she brought 24th constitutional amendment. She will have to remember this in chronological order. When Parliament ruled, when Supreme Court ruled in Golaknath case that the fundamental right cannot be taken away by the Parliament, they cannot be amended, they cannot be changed. So in 1971, in response to this case, 24th constitutional amendment passed. You will have to learn the 24th constitutional amendment, and it is related to the amendability of the fundamental right again. And in this amendment, it is passed that Parliament can take away any fundamental right under Article 368 by the constitutional amendment. So क्रोनोलॉजी समझिए. ठीक है. जैसे हमारे होम मिनिस्टर बोलते हैं ना क्रोनोलॉजी समझिए, तो वैसे विल हैव टू लर्न दिस क्रोनोलॉजी. पहले शंकरी प्रसाद में पार्लियामेंट सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने क्या बोला कि अच्छा ठीक है जाओ अमेंड कर लो. गोलकनाथ केस में रिवर्स हो गया, पार्लियामेंट को अच्छा नहीं लगा, दे ब्रॉट 24th कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट. बोले हम कोई भी फंडामेंटल राइट जो है कभी भी ले सकते हैं अंडर 368. एंड दिस वाज इन 1971. Then the historic case which changed the nature of the India and the constitution of India and the fundamental right. That case is Keshwanand Bharati in 1973, and it is versus state of Kerala. Clear? In this judgment, Supreme Court said that Parliament can take away any fundamental right, change any fundamental right, change any part of the Constitution under Article 368, but it cannot destroy the basic structure of the Constitution. Clear? Means they gave the Parliament the power to amend the fundamental right, change the fundamental right, or take away the fundamental right, but that power is limited because it should not destroy the basic structure of the Constitution. Clear? Means Parliament cannot arbitrarily take away all the fundamental rights or any of the fundamental right. If it is against the basic structure of the Constitution, then Parliament cannot take away that fundamental right. So it means it is amendable, but within limit. It cannot change the basic structure of the Constitution. Now again, what happened in after this? 42nd Amendment. In which year? I have told earlier, 1976. At that time, what was going on in the country? It was national emergency. Again, Indira Gandhi was in the power. And how could she tolerate that someone is taking the power of the parliament? So she again tried to reverse the judgment given by the Supreme Court in Keshwanand Bharati case and said in 42nd Amendment that there is no limitation on the parliament regarding the amendment of the fundamental rights. Means parliament can take away any of the fundamental rights if parliament want and if it is required in the country. So chronology समझ में आ रही है? हाँ? Then Indira Gandhi lost after emergency. And then in another case, that case is Minerva Mill case. This is also an important case. In 1980. Till then, Supreme Court as well as Indira Gandhi both have realized that fundamental rights are the essential part for the citizen. So Supreme Court again repeated its judgment given in the Keshwanand Bharati case and it's invalidated the 42nd Amendment. It declared null and void that provision that Parliament's amendment power is unlimited. And it again says that it is not unlimited, it is limited with the basic structure. Again, that same judgment. They given the same judgment of the Keshwanand Bharati to reverse the amendment made by 42nd Constitutional Amendment. Clear? And they again give the judgment that any part can be amended, but it should not destroy the basic structure of the Constitution. Then again in the last case, which is related to your basic structure and fundamental right, that is Vaman Rao case. किसी को ये जजमेंट नहीं अच्छा लग रहा था. Again came to the Supreme Court कि whether it is good or not good for the country to take away the fundamental right of the citizen by the parliament under Article 368. Same question. So in Vaman Rao case, Supreme Court adhered to the basic structure concept and said that amend whatever part, whatever schedule, whatever fundamental right you want, but remember, don't try to destroy the basic structure of the constitution. Otherwise, I will declare that constitutional amendment as null and void. And one more thing, what would be the basic structure? Only judiciary will decide itself. So don't you dare to take that power from the judiciary. That's why we said that in India there is a synthesis of judicial supremacy and parliamentary sovereignty, isn't it? देख रहे हो कैसे लड़ाई चल रही है, कौन सुप्रीम है पता चल पाएगा। तो एक बैलेंस है, ठीक है। फिर उसी बैलेंस से फिर निकल के आता है, फिर इसके बाद से ये डिसाइड हो गया कि फंडामेंटल राइट्स अमेंड करिए, यू कैन अमेंड, बट डोंट without destroying the basic structure. And what is the basic structure would be decided by the judiciary. ये कहानी समझ में आई? क्वेश्चन एग्जाम में ऐसे आएगा, लिख लो। एनालाइज द amendability of the fundamental rights. Analyze the power of the parliament regarding amendability of the fundamental rights. Analyze the power of the parliament regarding amendability of the fundamental right. कर लोगे? हाँ, ये सारे जजमेंट के बिना तुम्हारा आंसर जो है कंप्लीट नहीं होगा, ये दिमाग में रख लो। अगर तुम्हें अच्छा मार्क लाना है, कुछ बच्चे क्या करते हैं, सिर्फ इतना लिख के चले आते हैं केशवानंद भारती केस के बारे में, बाकी केस लिखते ही नहीं है। तो तुम भी तो नहीं ऐसे करोगे, ऐसे ही करोगे अब भी बताने के बाद भी? हाँ, क्लियर? अब देखो तुम्हारा एक चैप्टर बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर का भी है, तो वो मैंने कवर कर दिया है, तो अब मैं उसको पढ़ाऊंगा नहीं, यही सब चीजें फिर से रिपीट करना है, ठीक है। और बुकलेट में भी दिया हुआ है तुम्हारे, तो वहां से भी रीड कर लो, सेम चीज दी हुई है जो मैंने भी बताया है। समझ में आ गया ही? हाँ, वही सारे केसेस हैं, वही सब कुछ डिसीजन है। क्लियर? सारे केसेस क्लियर हुआ? क्रोनोलॉजी समझ में आई? दैट क्रोनोलॉजी इज आल्सो इम्पोर्टेंट। ये रैंडम नहीं लिख सकते तुम कि पहले तुम शंकरी प्रसाद लिखो, फिर उसके बाद केशवानंद भारती लिखो, फिर बाद में मिनरवा मिल लिखो। हाँ, हमने सही बता दिया, मतलब ऐसा नहीं पहले वमन राव लिख दो, फिर बाद में अच्छा याद आया, अच्छा शंकरी प्रसाद तो रह गया। ऐसे तुम लिख ही नहीं पाओगे ना, आंसर बनेगा ही नहीं फिर, ठीक है। तो शंकरी प्रसाद लिखोगे, देन गोलकनाथ लिखोगे, देन अमेंडमेंट था ना 24th वाला, यू मिस दैट। 24th अमेंडमेंट रिवर्स दैट डिसीजन गिवन इन केशवानंद भारती, ओ सॉरी गोलकनाथ। देन 73rd, देन फिर 42nd अमेंडमेंट, देन अगेन केशवानंद भारती, एंड देन वमन राव। नहीं लर्न हो रहा है ना अभी, हो जाएगा बेटा धीरे धीरे, ठीक है, एक दिन में थोड़ी होता है सब। नाउ आई हैव टोल्ड दैट कि व्हाट आर द बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर दैट वुड बी डिफाइंड बाय द जुडिशरी इटसेल्फ। आई हैव टोल्ड दैट ना। So judiciary has given few decision in few verdicts from the various judgment. Judiciary has given few features that are basic and that cannot be amended by the constitution. So you will have to learn these features also. For example, first feature that is basic structure, that is supremacy of the constitution. क्या है? Supremacy of the constitution means in India neither parliament nor supreme court, it is nor supreme. It is constitution that is supreme. So that is the basic structure. Then sovereign, democratic and republican nature of Indian polity. That is also basic structure. Means parliament cannot bring any law to change these features. Secular character of the constitution. है ना? Parliament can not amend the constitution and make it a theocratic state because it is basic structure. In the same way, federal character of the constitution. What do you mean by federal character? Means two or more than two tier of government. ठीक है, और ऐसे प्रोविजंस ऐसे कैरेक्टर को जो है पार्लियामेंट कैन नॉट चेंज. देन है यूनिटी एंड इंटीग्रिटी ऑफ द नेशन, वेलफेयर स्टेट, even power of judicial review is basic structure. See point number 8. And that's what has been said in the Minerva Mill case. Judicial review is the basic structure. Parliament cannot take this feature from the judiciary. Clear? To see the importance and analyze why I have taken so much time while I was teaching salient feature of the constitution. Because those were your basic. And at that time also I have told about these things. And in which article judicial review is mentioned? No, it is not mentioned anywhere in the constitution. How many times I am supposed to tell these things to you? It is judicial review is not mentioned in the constitution. It is derived from the article 13. Clear? I have told it clearly at that time while I was teaching. Which article? Article 13. The doctrine of judicial review is derived from article 13, but article 13 is nowhere mentioned in the constitution. Clear? And judicial review is the power of judiciary and it cannot be taken by the parliament. Is given as a verdict in the Minerva Mill case. And judiciary declared that judicial review itself is a basic structure. So parliament even cannot take away the power of judicial review. See how we are balancing our parliament and our Supreme Court. Isn't it? We are not giving supremacy to any one of them. Instead of that, we are giving supremacy to our constitution. It is constitution that would be supreme in the India, not any institution or organization. Clear? That's why Indian democracy is surviving because of these checks and balances. And other newly developing countries have failed to survive. Either they are suffering from coup or they are suffering from the constitutional crisis. कई सारी कंट्रीज तो अभी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ही नहीं बना पाए या उनके यहाँ सिविल वॉर हो रहा है. श्रीलंका देख लो, अगेन इन द वर्ज ऑफ सिविल वॉर. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल क्राइसिस इन द नेपाल, इतने साल हो गए अभी तक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन नहीं बना पाए. फेल्ड कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ पाकिस्तान. हाँ, so Indian constitution is one of the ideal constitution of the world. And it is our fundamental duty to abide by the constitution. Isn't it? I have told it in yesterday's class, no? It is our duty, fundamental duty to abide by the constitution, to follow the idea of constitution. Because Indian constitution is itself a idea of what is India and how India should govern. Clear? Now again see rule of law, parliamentary system, principle of equity, free and fair election, independent judiciary. See, parliament cannot curtail the independence of judiciary because independent judiciary is the basic structure. That's why they have declared NJAC, National Judicial Appointment Commission, as a void, null or declared because there was interference of executive. ठीक है, लिमिटेड पावर ऑफ द पार्लियामेंट इज आल्सो बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर, मीन्स पार्लियामेंट कैन नॉट change the constitution and give itself the unlimited power, because limited power of parliament is basic structure of our constitution. So power of the parliament to amend constitution under article 368 is limited, and limited by which factor? Limited by the basic structure of the constitution, and these things are the basic structure of the constitution. Clear? Any doubt? Now come to the criticism of the amendment procedure. What are the criticism? क्या हुआ? एनी डाउट तो बताओ, है कुछ डाउट? ये सब केसेस के लिए डाउट हो रहा है कि कैसे याद होगा इतना सारा केसेस? हो जाएगा बेटा, ये प्रोसेस है ना, धीरे धीरे करोगे तो हो जाता है। पता है, जब फर्स्ट टाइम पढ़ते हो तो थोड़ा सा डर लगता है कि अरे यार कैसे होगा, लेकिन तुम लोग देख रहे हो ना कि कितने सारे लोग यही सब पढ़ के फिर निकाल भी रहे हैं ना। तुम भी तो बिल्कुल डम टाइप के तो हो नहीं, जहाँ तक मुझे लग रहा है। नन ऑफ यू आर डम। एम आई राइट? डू यू कंसिडर योरसेल्फ एज डम? You know, sir, I am the biggest dumb of this world. If you have such kind of mentality, then change it. That's called negative attitude. And to qualify UPSC, you need both right kind of attitude as well as right kind of aptitude. And both can be developed. The most important, interesting thing is that both attitude and aptitude can be developed. Clear? So, come to the criticism. First point is, see, if you want, you can highlight important parts in your booklet also, but that won't be helpful for you. Try to write as much as you can. Try to catch my speed. ठीक है, बुकलेट तो है ही है ना, बाद में घर जाके पढ़ ही लोगे, बट लिखना तो सीखो। फाइनली मेंस में क्या है, तुम्हें लिखना पड़ेगा ना, अभी बताया था मैंने, पूरा हाथ दर्द होने लगेगा, तो वो ऐसे ही तो आएगा ना धीरे धीरे। और जब मैं ऐसे बताता हूँ यहाँ पे, तो ऐसे नोट्स करता रहता हूँ कि ये वाला पॉइंट है, ये वाला पॉइंट है, तो उसका शॉर्ट पॉइंट बना लिया करो ना, लास्ट टाइम पे वही रिवाइज कर लेना। जैसे फर्स्ट पॉइंट ऑफ क्रिटिसिज्म क्या है? नो स्पेशल बॉडी। नो स्पेशल बॉडी like USA. In USA, constitutional amendment can be done by a special body, but in case of India, it can be done by Parliament. No special body is required. Clear? Second, only central government, the only union government can amend the constitution. And only in few cases, states have power, but they cannot initiate. Whereas in USA, the power to amend the constitution lies both with the central government as well as state government. And in case of India, we have seen that na, कि only bill can be introduced only in the Raj Sabha and Lok Sabha, not in the state legislature. Clear? Also, one more important thing, you can write down the example how state government is strong in case of amendment. See, under Article 169, what is under Article 169? Tell me. Tell me. अभी जस्ट बताया है, creation or abolition of state legislative council. Creation or abolition of state legislative council is under Article 169. And in 169 it is given that the process to create or to abolish state legislative council can be initiated in the state legislative council itself, state legislature itself, but it depends on the central government to accept that bill or not. फॉर एग्जाम्पल अभी वेस्ट बंगाल गवर्नमेंट ने बिल पास किया कि वी वांट स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के पास पेंडिंग में पड़ा है। तेलंगाना ने बोला कि वी डोंट वांट स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर, वी वांट टू एबॉलिश इट, वहां से पास भी हो गया, लेकिन सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के पास अभी पेंडिंग में है। सो इवन स्टेट डू नॉट हैव द पावर। नो नो, व्हाई वुड दे एबॉलिश स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर यार? तो असेंबली कैसे चलेगी? स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल, स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर स्टेट में नहीं रहेगा तो कैसे सारे काम होंगे? नहीं नहीं, पास बाय द स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर, आई स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर ने पास कर दिया उसको, ठीक है। एंड वन मोर क्रिटिसिज्म, you will have to learn all these criticism. See, major part of the constitution, except few, can be amended by the parliament alone, isn't it? Only federal provision, only in federal provision, only in these cases, state can participate, है ना? अभी बताया था ना कि पार्लियामेंट, मोस्ट ऑफ द पार्ट तो पार्लियामेंट अकेले ही अमेंड कर रहा है। Only those cases which have federal provision, in that case state can participate. Even state cannot initiate that part also, that would be initiated by the parliament, passed by the parliament, but the ratification would be required by the state, and state shall pass, state will pass that ratification with simple majority or special majority. State सिंपल, स्टेट वाला सिंपल है, पार्लियामेंट वाला स्पेशल है। अगेन सपोज इन केस ऑफ डेडलॉक देयर इज नो प्रोविजन ऑफ जॉइंट सिटिंग ना, जॉइंट सिटिंग कम्स अंडर विच आर्टिकल? 108. सी, गो होम एंड ट्राई टू लर्न दीज आर्टिकल्स ना, दैट्स द प्रोसेस टू लर्न बेटा। एक दिन में नहीं सारे लर्न कर पाओगे ना। क्लियर? सो देयर इज नो प्रोविजन ऑफ जॉइंट सिटिंग ना, both the houses must pass the constitutional amendment bill separately. Clear? And see, in case of joint session it is always parliament that wins. How? Because of the strength of the Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha will always win, like 545 plus 245. अब इसकी मेजॉरिटी करोगे तो कौन जीतेगा? ऑब्वियसली पार्लियामेंट, लोकसभा। Clear? And one more important thing, when we are talking about the ratification of the state, half of the state legislature, but we have not prescribed any limit, constitution has not prescribed any time limit in how much times state are supposed to give their assent, state are supposed to ratify this amendment bill. This is not prescribed by the constitution. No time limit is there for the state assemblies to ratify the constitutional amendment bill. And one more thing that is also very important, constitution is silent about the withdrawal of the ratification. Means suppose any government, for example, take example of the UP government, if any constitutional bill changing the federal provision passed by the parliament, UP government is also run by the same party at the central level, so they will definitely give the ratification without any opposition. But suppose in next election government at UP change And if state want to withdraw, I don't want that assent. So constitution is silent about it. Means once the ratification is given, whether it would be withdrawal by the state or not, that is not given in the constitution. See, in case of simple majority, the process of amendment is very similar to the process of law making, isn't it? For example, if parliament want to change the provision related to citizenship, they can change it like the simple law making in the parliament, simple legislature power of the parliament. So this is also a criticism. If few provisions are called as constitutional amendment, but they are changed by the simple legislative process, like ordinary law making process. Clear? And see, the provision related to the amendment is not very clear. The concept of basic structure is very vague. So all these process, all these verdict of the Supreme Court regarding basic structure have led to the dispute between the judiciary and parliament. It has been seen various time on multiple occasions that amendment passed by the parliament is often taken by the Supreme Court in case of any complaint. That is due to the sketchy process of the amendment procedure. That is not very clear. It is silent about many aspects. And what would be the basic structure would be defined by the judiciary itself. So all these provisions related to the basic structure as well as procedure related to the amendment of the constitution are not clearly defined, are not clearly described, leading to the dispute on various occasions. Clear? So these are the few criticism regarding the amendment provision or procedure of the parliament. Clear? And you will have to revise it multiple times. Okay? And you will have to write at least 6 to 7 in your exam. You won't be write all the 10 or 11 criticism, and the word limit won't allow you to write in such a detailed way. Clear? नंबर भी कट जाएगा बेटा, प्लस तुम्हारा पेपर भी छूट जाएगा. तो एक क्वेश्चन बहुत अच्छा लिखोगे, 5 क्वेश्चन छोड़ आओगे, सो इट विल अफेक्ट योर फाइनल स्कोर ना. तो क्या फायदा ज्यादा ज्ञान देने का. गिव दैट मच ज्ञान दैट इज रिक्वायर्ड इन द आंसर. थोड़ा बहुत. अब पूरा स्पेलिंग मिस्टेक ही करते रहोगे तो मार्क्स कटेंगे. ठीक है. ग्रामर के भी अब ब्लंडर करोगे तो कटेंगे, बाकी नहीं कटता है. यूपीएससी एग्जामिनर आर वेरी लिबरल. यूपीएससी इज क्रूअल ओनली रिगार्डिंग टू प्रीलिम्स. They don't want non-serious candidate. So that's why prelims is called as rejection process of recruitment. Whereas mains and interview, it is called as selection process of recruitment. Clear? So prelims is only for non-serious aspirants. Those who are not serious. अब डायरेक्ट मेंस करवाएंगे तो कितने 7-8 लोगों की कॉपी चेक करनी पड़ेगी, और 100 रुपये का यूपीएससी का फॉर्म गर्ल्स के लिए फ्री. ठीक है. सो एनी टॉम डिक हैरी वुड अप्लाई, और 8 लाख लोगों की कॉपी चेक करते करते यूपीएससी की हालत खराब हो जाए. 8 लाख, 7 लाख, 6 लाख ऐसे, above 6 lakh and 3 lakh appear in the exam prelims. हाँ, बल 6 लाख लोग भर देते हैं, लेकिन कुछ लोगों को अपना अटेंड बचाना होता है, तो उसमें से हाफ पहले ही गायब हो जाते हैं। बाकी उन 3 लाख में सिर्फ 50,000 में फाइट होती है, ठीक है। और 8-9 हज़ार 10 हज़ार प्रीलिम्स निकालते हैं, फिर उसमें से 3 हज़ार के लिए इंटरव्यू कॉल होती है, फिर उसमें से 1,000 फाइनली सिलेक्ट होते हैं, और उस 1,000 में से भी 150 तक आईएएस बनते हैं, बाकी सब दूसरे सर्विस। टफ है ना? टफ है, बट इम्पॉसिबल नहीं है। एंड आई होप कि तुम लोग कर ले जाओगे, ठीक है, बिकॉज यू गाइस सीम्स वेरी हार्ड वर्किंग टू मी। एम आई राइट? नो। If you are not hardworking, then make yourself as a hardworking aspirant, an aspirant with consistency, an aspirant with perseverance. If you really want to get into these prestigious services, clear? You will have to change yourself, na? According to changing scenario. Earlier there was no CSAT in the UPSC exam, but now they are also asking very difficult question in CSAT. And I knew many aspirants personally. They have scored very well in GS paper, but they were not able to qualify CSAT. Only 33% marks. Out of 200, they are not able to score even 66 marks. So you'll also have to focus on the CSAT. ठीक है? सो धीरे धीरे करो, ग्रेजुअली। अभी नहीं कि एक दिन में बैठो पूरा सीसेट आज ही निपटा देंगे, होएगा ही नहीं। क्लियर? सो प्रोसीजर लिख लिया तुमने अमेंडमेंट का? टाइप ऑफ अमेंडमेंट हो गया है। ये अमेंडेबिलिटी ऑफ द फंडामेंटल राइट, यू वांट मी टू डिक्टेट? हाँ? और क्रिटिसिज्म? सी इट इज रिटन इन वेरी सिंपल लैंग्वेज। क्लियर? बट इफ यू वांट मी आई कैन डिक्टेट यू। Or I would like to advise you to make short notes from these booklets also. Keywords. And that's why I have compiled it in the written one-liner type criticism, so that you can easily read and digest it. So these compilation are even like notes. But if you want, then I can dictate. Clear? And from Monday, we will start very important chapter, that is Parliament. That is the most important chapter of entire polity. And I will take time to finish that chapter. वहां से प्रीलिम्स मेंस इंटरव्यू तीनों जगह पे क्वेश्चन बनते हैं। क्लियर? एंड आई विल हैव टू एक्सप्लेन ईच एंड एवरी कॉन्सेप्ट, सो वी विल टेक few more hours to finish the parliament. Clear? And I was thinking to shift timing of your class to 6 p.m. Any problem to anyone? Huh? If you have any problem, then let me know. Is it okay? 6 p.m. is okay for all? Huh? But make sure कि by 6 p.m. you reach here in the class. Clear? That's good. चलो फिर we will start parliament in our next lecture. Clear? And I have explained basic structure also very well. And all these things you will again have to study in basic structure concept while remembering all these cases. So I supposed you will do it by yourself.